Can the Quant token hit $12,000? That is the question we are going to discuss in today's video at a time when Quant is on a major breakout alert, finally breaking a downtrending channel it has been in since February of this year and reversing into a new uptrend. Additionally, we are going to take a look at the key partnerships Quant has made with financial institutions, central banks, governments, and some of the biggest tech companies in the world, which I do believe will make this a top 10 altcoin in the future. And we got Crypto.com securing their registration approval in Netherlands at a time where Binance was forced to exit this region after failing to obtain their own regulatory approval, something I think fares very well for the global adoption of CRO coin. All of this and more in today's daily market update. Now, hopping right in here with the market overview, you guys may be able to tell right off the bat that I am not in my regular recording setup. However, between the Quant breakout and the Crypto.com news, there's just too much to get through in this video that I did not want you to miss out on. So we can see over the past week, Bitcoin is down about 1.82%. Ether is down about 0.94%, and the biggest loser in the top 10 has been XRP, down just under 9% on the week and being held down at the 70 to 72 cent range. Very glad we did choose to take profits at that 80 cent level on the pump. Now, the one altcoin here that is definitely a standout over the past 24 hours, if I shuffle by performance, we're going to see here that Quant is up 5.18% at almost $107 after finding support at a very key area of 100. And we are going to break down the technicals for Quant when we get into that segment of the video. However, first, I do want to take a look at both Bitcoin and Ethereum, as they do generally dictate where majority of the market moves. Now, taking a look at Bitcoin here on a 3-month time frame, the one thing you're going to notice is that for, from late June until about late July, Bitcoin was range bound between 29.5K and 31.5K. You can see here that we made multiple tests of 31.5K and got rejected. And on the day that Ripple actually won the lawsuit versus the SEC, we got a fake breakout above this level only to come back down below it. And since then, we have actually now broken down out of this box and closed consecutive daily candles below 29.5K. Interestingly enough, Bitcoin at the moment is actually holding the 200-day moving average as an area of support, but I'm not looking at the daily moving averages. If we zoom out here and look broader term, which I do think is very important as we are in an accumulation phase, Bitcoin is actually coming back down to its bull market support band. And this bull market support band is range bound in between 27.6K and 28.3K, which leads me to believe that Bitcoin does want to come down to about $28,000 in the coming days. Additionally, we do have the 200-week moving average, which currently sits at $27,000. And historically speaking, the bull market support band and 200-week moving average are the two most important technical indicators for Bitcoin, in my opinion. So given that in the near term, we have broken out of this box from 31.5 to 29.5K, and taking a look at long-term historical technical indicators, I do believe that Bitcoin does want to come back down to 28,000 first. And if we do break below 27,000, 28,000, I do think that 27K is next. Now, for me personally, if we take a look at the bull market support band, we can see that it has acted as support once here in March, another time here in June, and if it does come back down here again, this would be the third time Bitcoin is testing this indicator, and I would feel comfortable stepping in there and buying at 28K with the thesis that this is an accumulation year and that Bitcoin will slowly grind higher into the second half of this year. I think the only real catalyst that could really shift this momentum to either way is a BlackRock spot ETF approval. That being, if the ETF gets denied, I think we easily come back down below the bull market support band, even as low as 25,000. And if it gets approved, I think we easily make new yearly highs on that news. Now, so for Bitcoin, looking at 27K, and as for Ethereum, I have this $1,700 area of support outlined with a blue line on the chart. And that's because, in my opinion, right now, Ether is playing in between two very crucial areas of support and resistance. So 1,700 1700 being the strong area of support and 2000 being the strong area of resistance. And to zoom out, we're going to go back to 2021 to give you some perspective on why I'm taking such a big look at this area. So we can see here that back in 2021, Ether had a lot of price action around 1700, actually getting rejected at it multiple times. And then the last time it bounced off 1700 in March of 2021, it then rallied all the way up to $4,350. And then from here, it came all the way back down to 1700, actually triple bottoming at this zone in May, June, and July. And this happened before it ran to the previous bull run all-time highs of 48.50. So therefore, we can see 1700 is a very important technical indicator for Ethereum. It got rejected here at that level in September of last year. It also got rejected multiple times here earlier in 2023. If we zoom in on the year to date, we can see here how many times Ether actually got rejected at $1,700 before finally making a move above it. So considering how much price action has happened at the $1,700 range, I really do think that this is going to be the next magnet for Ethereum. So 27K on Bitcoin, 1,700 on Ether. That is what I'm looking for when it comes to the charts. And now I do want to hop into the altcoin news, as there is a lot more important things to break down in my opinion. As Bitcoin and Ether are moving to the downside, Quant is making its way to the upside here, up 5% on the day, and finally breaking a very strong downtrend it was trapped under since February of this year, when it peaked out at about $160 per coin. And I do want to take the opportunity to talk about Quant's price action in this video and why I do in fact believe it has 5-figure price potential in the future. And the first thing I do want to say right off the bat is that I find it, it's very telling in terms of the market cycle that we are in and where we are in the crypto market, when we see people getting increasingly frustrated that Quant has pretty much been a stable coin at the $100 level, always finding it as an area of support. Now, if you guys have been with the channel for a while, I've been saying $100 has been an amazing area for the price action and for making some near-term gains. In fact, let me go ahead and remove the indicators from the chart and show you just what I am talking about. So from the bear market last year, you guys know we started covering Quant here in the mid, $40 to $50 range. So even from that level, Quant had a very nice run from about $45 all the way up to $228, making for almost a 450% gain from June to September of last year alone. So that was a very profitable trade. But even assuming you had just simply bought Quant every single time it went down to $100, we can actually see here. So after the bottom there at 45 in June of last year, we can see the first time Quant actually broke above $100 and went all the way up to about 130, making for a move of 30%. The second time Quant broke above $100 in September, it ran up to 228, going all the way up about 125%. Now we can see back here in November of last year, after hitting $100 once again, Quant ran up to 130 for a 30% gain. In the new year, we once again saw Quant start the year at $100, ran up to 160, making for a nice gain of about 58%. Now here in May, we saw Quant hit $100, run all the way up to 120. It was a nice, another 20% move there. And then most recently as June, we actually saw Quant run from 100 up to 117 for a nice 17% gain. So Quant off this $100 area has made for plenty of nice trading opportunities we have discussed on the channel. And people do tend to get frustrated when they see Quant continuously coming back down to this $100 area as an area of support. However, I love when Quant hits $100 because over the past year, it's pretty much been an easy money opportunity every single time. And those don't always come along in this kind of market, especially in a choppy market like we have been seeing. So now that we've kind of talked about Quant in the near to midterm, I do want to mention that the next thing I'm looking for when it comes to Quant is a retest of the bull market support band at $110. We can see here that while Quant has been continuously getting rejected at this red downtrending channel, it has also been continuously getting rejected at the bull market support band, currently sitting at 111. And that's what I am eyeing here to see if Quant is able to make a retest of this level. But this brings me to the broader question in this video of whether or not I actually believe Quant can hit a $12,000 price target in the future. So we're going to talk about that using the coin perspective. And the one thing I always say when it comes to Quant is that Quant is not only a utility token, but it's also the tokenomics of this project that make it very possible for it to hit this 5-figure price potential, in my opinion. But before we hop into the tokenomics aspect of it, let's talk about the utility and mainly some of the key partnerships that Quant has formed over this year. So using the Quant Overledger, customers are able to create their own native tokens and transfer these tokens across multiple different ledger technologies and blockchains. Quant's partnership, the first one I'm going to talk about here is with Oracle, and Oracle has certified Overledger for interoperability with their blockchain platform. For customers looking for production-ready infrastructure, Quant provides an immediately available solution certified in their cloud infrastructure. Quant is now working in a highly collaborative manner with Oracle, and a key sector they are engaged in is its financial services. And according to Quant on their website, this partnership with Oracle gives them access to the 430,000 plus customers tapping into Oracle's cloud infrastructure. Now, the second one I want to talk about here is LAC Chain. So Quant provides digital asset interoperability rails for LAC Chain, a multinational DLN bringing enterprise and public services to 12 plus Latin American countries, including the Latin American dollar. LACnet will onboard tens, if not hundreds of millions of users over the next few years onto the Quant Overledger. Third is Nexi Group. This is Europe's #1 payment processor, connecting over 1,000 financial institutions in 25 plus countries and handling 21 billion transactions per year. And they use the Quant Overledger to interoperate blockchains and distributed ledger technologies onto their payments networks, effectively connecting legacy infrastructure to existing blockchain infrastructure. That is what the Quant Overledger is capable of. And we also know that recently Nexi Group was working with Amazon to work on a European central bank digital currency with the ECB, all of whom have connections to Quant, and who I highly suspect Quant is in fact involved in a European CBDC. And that isn't unjustified either, given that we did actually see Gilbert Verdian confirm that they are working with the Bank of International Settlements and the Bank of England. We know that the BIS has also been working with France on their own CBDC. So really connections all around the world here between Quant and these financial institutions. And the last partnership I do want to talk about is their partnership with UST. And UST is basically preparing to offer financial institutions a platform to issue CBDCs, commercial stablecoins, and digital securities onto major DLNs. UST clients include 140 of the top 1,000 companies in the world. So what does this have to do with the Quant token specifically? Well, the Quant token is the token that actually powers all transactions on the Quant Overledger. The Quant token is in fact needed for account creation, for identity verification, as well as for all transactions on the Quant Overledger. They are handled in Quant. Therefore, increased adoption of the Quant Overledger does also equal more use case and more demand for the Quant token itself, as demonstrated by this infographic right here. And this is where the tokenomics come into play, because we're talking about a token with a huge total addressable market for governments and financial institutions with only a 14.88 mil total supply. And this is where Quant does really distinguish itself from the rest of the pack, in my opinion. So taking a look at this chart here, which we are going to go back to in a second, it shows you a $12,000 price target on Quant. And the one thing I do want to mention here is that the reason XRP has actually only hit an all-time high of about $3.80 is because it has a 100 billion total supply with about 99.9 bill currently circulating. And you compare that to the 14.88 mil Quant in circulation, and you can see exactly why each Quant token is much more valuable than each individual XRP token. There's simply just not as much to go around. So let's take a look at XRP's all-time high market cap of 127.8 billion. And I think this is a very fair comparison, considering that the XRP token powers the XRP ledger the same way that Quant powers the Quant Overledger. two pieces of technology that are focused on tokenization and centralization. So now we're going to go over to the coin perspective. We're going to put Quant in here, and then we're going to put XRP in here. And what we're going to do is assume that Quant could actually hit that all-time high market cap of XRP. And right off the bat, that would assign Quant about an $8,800 market cap. And considering that crypto adoption is continuing, I do believe, especially given that centralization is going to be a key theme of the next bull run, a lot of institutions, including BlackRock, the biggest in the world, are bullish on tokenization. I think it is also possible for Quant to surpass this market cap in the future, and that it could in fact hit that $12,000 price target we discussed at the beginning of this video. Now, this is a very interesting chart here from Legit Crypto Nerd, a big quant bull. And what he's basically showing you is that even if Quant was to imitate its performance from the last bull run, we can see here that it would in fact hit that $12,000 price target. So we can see here that Quant had a 90% correction and then went on a 29.8% rally. And that basically brought Quant from about $1 more or less up to $420 at its peak. Now, what we're going to go ahead and take a look at is what happened after this peak at $420, in which Quant did decline about 90% from $420 down to $42. It was in this area that we were talking about pounding the buy button on Quant in the depths of the bear market last year. And then you can see here that if Quant was to once again give the same performance of about just under 30,000% gain that it gave in the prior bull run, that would equate to one Quant being worth $12,000. Now, if you do believe in diminishing returns, as I do, basically meaning that as more money pours into crypto, the more difficult it's going to be for the crazy gains, then yes, I do think that it is possible Quant does not actually go on a 30,000% rally like it did last time. In fact, I think that's more than likely. So if we even take that $12,000 price target and slash it by 20%, we're still looking at a five-figure $10,000 Quant, and that personally is what I would be looking for when it comes to Quant. But I still believe that this altcoin does have five-figure price potential for the future, and that is simply based not only on the utility but also the tokenomics of this project. Now, I do want to wrap this up talking about Crypto.com and CRO. I want to preface this by saying that earlier this week, we actually spoke about how Binance was set to leave a couple of European regions, and it was announced here by CNBC that they are exiting Netherlands after failing to obtain regulatory approval. So Binance said that it can no longer serve Dutch clients as they have been unable to register as a virtual asset service provider with the Dutch regulator, but they gave no reason as to why. It was basically announced that as of July 17th, Binance ceased allowing users to buy tokens, trade, or make deposits, although its withdrawal function still remains active. And under the current regulatory regime, Binance can only get approval to operate in an EU country by registering under its money laundering prevention rules. Now, here's where it gets very interesting, because it was in fact announced on July 28th that Crypto.com received registration in the Netherlands. So CEO Chris Marzalek says here, grateful for the support we receive from regulators in all jurisdictions. It's also a testament to our continued focus on security and compliance being the right strategy, allowing us to build the most trusted platform in the world. And I do absolutely think that this is a big part of Crypto.com's strategy, is to gain regulatory approval in as many regions as possible, one that I think is going to pay off drastically in the next bull run as they look to onboard the next wave of crypto users and adopters, where they are one of the most highly regulated, secure, and globally known platforms. So you can see here that they are in fact approved for operating now in Netherlands. And this is just a quick recap of the regulatory licenses they have achieved across the globe. So we're talking about Australia, Canada, the Cayman Islands, Cyprus, Dubai, France, Greece, Italy, Netherlands, Singapore, South Korea, Spain, and the US. So Crypto.com clearly has been very good at gaining that global regulatory approval. And one point that I did make here is that Crypto.com is a global exchange with CRO as their native token and their only altcoin that provides access to their crypto visa. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that program real quick. And the reason being is because I actually invested in CROcoin well before the Chronos chain was even a thing. The only reason I actually invested in CROcoin were two key reasons, actually three. The first one was I believed in the growth of crypto.com and their ability to onboard new users onto the platform and their ability to convert users of the platform into holders of CROcoin via their products like the crypto.com Visa and crypto.com Pay. So crypto.com Pay offers you about 10% cash back in CRO if you actually pay in CRO on gift cards that you can easily use to get by. We're talking like gas, groceries, all that stuff you can get through crypto.com Pay. Some of them are 2.5% cash back, some are 5%, some are 10%. But if you have CRO, your discounts are actually increased. And additionally, these crypto.com visas incentivize you to buy CRO and lock it up for the card. You're offered a yield on your card here depending on the dollar value of CRO that you have locked up, as well as some very nice cash back in my opinion. And the one thing to remember that I always point out here is that the cash back on these cards is given to you in CRO. So this means that at the moment, CRO is sitting at about 6 cents more or less. If you think that CRO can double and go up to 12 cents, all this cash back you're getting right now at 2% is actually 4%. So I do really think that the crypto.com Visa is one of the best on the market. And if they can make it globally available, I think that fares very well for the demand for CROcoin. So on that note, I hope you did enjoy the content in today's video. You know what to do. If you made it all the way to the end, you are an absolute champion. Let me know in the YouTube comments down below and claim that champion status. I am wishing you all an amazing Saturday and an amazing weekend ahead, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Peace out for now.